Hi, welcome to my next video. This time I wanted to show you a new illustration in the Tokyo at Night series. It's actually the 8th piece in this series, so I skipped 2 of them. I wanted to show you this one first because it has some unique new things that I tried out. Also, please forgive if there are any crashes and bangs and weird noises in the background because we have a typhoon right now in Japan and the whole house is just shaking from the wind. It's okay. Probably, yes. So close your storm windows as we did, take a nice cup of cocoa or something you like, and let's continue. As I said, this is another illustration from the Tokyo at Night series, in which I'm portraying suburban Tokyo night scenes, and this is again based on one of the photos I took while on one of our walks with Kana, probably just going back from the animation studio to our house in Waseda, when we were still living in Waseda, so this is somewhere around Waseda or Kagurazaka or somewhere there. I really like this kind of menacing, weird, bright building in the background, which is really tall and narrow, like some kind of wizard's tower, contrasting with the dark buildings in front and the parking with some cars. And overall the atmosphere of the place was really something, so I had to feature it in this series and try really hard to kind of show the feeling of the place in the painting. Even though this piece is not so complicated, it does not have so many details, I spent quite a long time on the sketch because I wanted to get all the proportions right. They were needed to show the kind of hugeness and strangeness of the building in the back. And I also wanted to get the cars right, so I spent a little bit more time than usual on the sketch and then traced everything with my COPIC Multiliner, the 0.51 as usual. I just like how it behaves on the watercolor paper, allowing me to make more rough and textured and not so dark lines, but still visible after I paint over them with the watercolors. The next step was coloring with my usual Schmincke watercolor set, and I really enjoyed coloring this piece because it had a lot of large expanses of colors, a lot of large washes where I could just experiment a lot with nice textures, with granulation, with mixing colors, with nice gradients. So I did all that I could there. Especially in the sky, I tried to make it more kind of cloudy and reddish with some nice gradations and transitions of colors without any hard edges. The other thing I was careful about in this painting was protecting the white of the building in the back, because I wanted to make it nice and contrasty with the dark one in the front. Even though I added some details there, I wanted to keep it nice and light, and I also was really careful about the line that's made at the connection point of the dark and light areas. I wanted to keep it nice and crisp and kind of without any blemishes. So when I made a small mistake there, I quickly used a tissue to kind of wipe this mistake away and to repeat this line again. When I was more or less finished with the buildings, I switched to coloring the cars, and I was really happy that I did some cars recently. I did some watercolor sketches, so I kind of knew what I was doing more or less. I wanted to keep them kind of realistic, but with not so many details, because these are not the main point of the picture. So in the finished picture, I wanted them to more or less blend in with the dark parking space. I layered the paint gradually to make them nice and dark. When the watercolor painting part was done, I decided that I still want to do some adjustments that I would usually do in the computer, making things a little bit darker here and darker there, blending some stuff in and decreasing the contrast in some places. But this time, instead of doing this in Photoshop, I decided to use the same airbrush technique as I did in one of my previous illustrations that I showed you. I wanted to make the top of the tall building and the sky to kind of disappear into the dark more, and to blend the cars that are in front with the wall of the parking, with the dark wall, so they don't stand out so much. So I decided to put some dark paint into my airbrush. And this is a mix of Payne's Grey and Caput Mortuum, which is a nice dark, not so intensive red. I mixed the paints with some water and put it into the airbrush. I also decided to add some Prussian blue to the top of the picture to make it even more interesting. Even though I'm using the same watercolor paints as always, with an airbrush I can get this kind of soft shadow effect, which would be really hard to add to a finished picture with just brushes. And I also kind of like the texture the airbrush gives. Okay, so the picture is finished, the last step was just peeling the masking tape. And this is how it looks after scanning and clean up in Photoshop. I think the airbrush effect helped me to kind of recreate the original atmosphere of the place, so I want to experiment with this technique more in this series. Okay, that's it for this video, I hope you liked it. As always, feel free to comment, share and subscribe, and you can also support me on Patreon. It's your support there that allows me to put more time into these kind of projects. Okay, see you in the next video, bye!